And you can see these different colored rotations. This is telling us that we are seeing some rotation within this storm. And again, that is right around the Randolph area, currently right on 44, just north of 224. This will be pushing its way toward Palmyra, also over toward Craig Beach. So if you know anyone around the Craig Beach area, definitely want to give them some heads up there out on Lake Milton. As this storm is moving in that direction. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off this upper marker. And what this marker is telling us, this is the circle that you're seeing here, is that there is definitely rotation spinning up with this storm. As we start to look at some of our tools here, this is what we call our rotation tracker. This has had a history, this storm, of producing shear with it. And you can plainly see as we look off to the west. And I'm going to turn the warnings off just for a second, just to show you what I'm talking about. And this is this path of rotation here, as this has made its way across southern parts of Medina County over into Summit County, now here into Portage County, right around to Rootstown, and again, pushing its way into central southern parts of Portage County, but currently that rotation that's showing up, I need to turn this off for a second for you so you can see this closer, is right along the Interstate 76 and just south of there. That's where that rotation tracker is showing up. And again, we look at these different products in here to try to pinpoint these cells as they move on through. And what we're seeing currently, at least, is this area of rotation right around the Rootstown area, pretty much between Randolph and Rootstown, off of 76. So if you live in east central parts of Portage County, want to definitely be taking preparation. There is a tornado warning, and you can plainly see that blinking in red here. This is officially in place until 4:30. And Kyle, what's the speed on that? I believe they're about 30 to 35 miles per hour. I know the warning when it came out on the text itself. I was curious what they were saying.
Yeah, we're looking still at about 30 to 35 miles an hour
on that. So if we go
through.
and throw a track on this, and we'll do that just to kind of get a better pinpoint of this moving off to the east here. This is a supercell that is coming together here, making its way on in. And there is a good chance the tornadic part of this storm, so if we drag this off to the east here, at about 30 miles per hour. That does put that into the Blanco area. This is right across from Craig Beach at about 4:30. So I will not be surprised if we see a new warning, probably a tornado warning, is going to come in place here for Mahoning County shortly. In fact, we may be breaking in on the air shortly on all our channels, again, as this approaches the county lines here of western Mahoning County. This is a tornadic storm currently showing indication of a tornado as far as Doppler radar is considered, and you can plainly see that here as we're looking at some of the rotation on this. So meteorologist Paul Wetzel alongside with meteorologist Kyle Alexander and, of course, Jacob Thompson also in here working with us this afternoon.
Paul, I would like to point out,
ahead,
too, some of these wind speeds are picking up around the system, too. We're now seeing wind getting up into the low 40s now with this system pushing towards and really through Portage County. So, again, it's kind of building as it's moving eastward right now.
This storm is pulsing up again, and thank you very much, Kyle. This is an indication of, and this is what we were concerned about. We were looking at this time frame this afternoon. Just real quick, before we continue back to that storm, there are some other storms around. Currently, there's a storm down by New Philly. That's going to miss the area, but there is a stronger storm right now up in northern Trumbull County. We're watching that one, too. Don't see any signs of rotation on that yet, but that's something we'll be watching. And again, but as this storm moves in out of Portage County, this is going to be moving into Mahoning County, and I will not be surprised here shortly if they don't reissue a new tornado warning on that, Kyle. So we're going to be watching that closely, too. I'm going to let you take over for a second, Kyle. I want to check something over here. For sure. It's all yours.
Yes, we are still tracking all of this coming through. Again, it's been kind of building throughout the afternoon. As we've worked into these afternoon hours, lots of pop-up storms and showers really working on through. And again, still tracking this system right now in Portage County, where we do see a tornado warning associated with this system. Again, just to kind of show you what we're dealing with. It lasts until 4:30 in Portage County. But again, this is kind of building steam as it works its way towards our viewing area. That's why we are streaming online right now. You can also see we are still dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning associated with this system too. And we've got some more weather activity to our south that, again, will miss the area, but Columbiana County, I do expect to see some showers and thunderstorms. Let me give you another idea, kind of looking at where we're seeing some of this rotation. If I turn off lightning and some of the warnings here, you can really see how some of this wind speed is picking up. And to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at, we have the green over here. We also have red over here showing us this wind direction coming from the south and the west. And where you see the higher wind, where that rotation is, you can see some of this green in there too. Another better picture maybe to even see it. You can see a better mixture of the red and green. And that's where we are picking up this rotation on radar currently as this system continues to push its way pretty much directly eastward through Portage County, heading right towards the Mahoning and Trumbull County lines as we go throughout the afternoon. Another little thing to look at too is some hooks showing up on radar. Not a huge hook here, but again, it's just something we're going to have to keep tracking. Now, the wind has seemed, at least, to die down on this storm track around 30 miles an hour. Literally just a couple of seconds ago, looking at this system, winds were around 40 miles an hour. Doesn't mean that this is going to build up again. We could definitely see this continue to build some strength going into the next bit of time here. But we're going to have to keep tracking this going throughout the time. You can also see it's heading towards Palmyra, going into Wayland, also working its way towards and into Mahoning County here. Craig Beach and Lake Milton. Actually, I was just out there a little bit earlier today, and it was a beautiful morning. But again, we're going to see this system really start to push through that area coming up in the next 30 minutes to about an hour as we continue to track these storms. Another look kind of at the bigger picture of our viewing area right now. You can see we're dealing with some more regular rain up in Trumbull and Mercer County, some stronger pockets of that rain too in northern Trumbull County. Also dealing with these systems to our southwest, tracking towards Columbiana County. Again, bringing that potential for some shower and thunderstorm activity really sticking around. And again, kind of like Paul said, I'm thinking something probably will pop up here shortly.
Yeah, Kyle, that's what I was just going to say. We're going to know here real soon, and I do expect a new warning more than likely is going to be issued with this storm. This is a tornado warning that's currently in place here for Portage County. Now, what we're going to watch, though, is to see whether or not the new warning's issued, and I'm sure it will be. I'll be surprised if we don't see a new warning issued. But with that, regardless, we want you to be prepared here in Mahoning County. We'll also be jumping on air on all our stations if this goes to a tornado warning, which it does look like there's a pretty good likelihood that it's going to go. You go ahead, Kyle.
Something just popped up in our National Weather Service chat that there has been signs and people have seen what they're calling a rapid rotating wall cloud with this storm going into Portage County right now. So this is clearly building up into
and there's no question about it. I mean, there's an obvious hook with this. The tornado, we've been looking at those velocity data. This is right on Moff Road into going to Yale. This is Route 14, just northwest of Deerfield. 224 north. This is 76 up here to the north. And this is tracking pretty much right down Moff Road. If you're familiar with this part of Portage County, it's about to go over top of 14. So this is Route 14 south of 76 moving in. Kyle, they have not mentioned whether or not they're planning on, you're not seeing that on...
Not seeing any mention.
They're talking whether or not they're going to add or additional...
No mention of it just yet. The only thing that they have mentioned is they're continuing this warning in Portage County currently, and also hail being reported there at about 1.75 inches.
And that's no surprise. And that's big hail. And that's more than likely right on the interstate here. Looks like you can see this core, this purple core here, right on Talmadge Road and right along I-76. This is just inside the Portage County line. That's where the hail would be. The tornado would be off to the south, pretty much right here on Wilkes Road, southeast of Industry, right in the center of rotation. You can plainly see the hook coming on around. This is the inflow into the storm. And the tornado would be right here here at this point, looking on Doppler radar. So really watching this closely, and I'm actually surprised we haven't had a new warning going into Mahoning County yet. This is moving into Mahoning County. This is also southwestern parts of Trumbull County. Now we're hearing of those reports of a possible rotating wall cloud underneath this. This is going to be right in this region, now east of 44 and Randolph, and it's working its way toward the Mahoning County line. And just so you know, if you're watching us right now and you know somebody, obviously it's already lightning and thunder here around the Lake Milton area, but this is going to move pretty much down 76. Pretty much down 224, and in between here as this moves into western Mahoning County. There's the update again on radar. You can see that heavy rain already spreading in, just about to move over top of western parts of Blanco, out to the west here at Craig Beach and Lake Milton. Very heavy rain going down 76 right now, but the tornadic part of this storm is still to the west, just about to cross over Route 14 as it moves on in. So that's what we're looking at. Again, no official warning for Mahoning County currently, but we're watching that closely. Bigger storm, western Columbiana County. You're hearing some lightning and thunder. The bulk of that is currently off to your southwest. Here's a little good news. The storm that has had a tornado warning most of the afternoon now only has a severe thunderstorm warning on it down around New Philly. But it's something we'll be watching. Now off to the north here, back into this storm that is moving into Mahoning County again, now approaching the Mahoning County line, and we're going to wait. I'm guessing in just a matter of minutes we're going to hear something. Kyle, let's go ahead and ask the Weather Service, if you don't mind. Let's go ahead and ask them if they're going to issue on with this. We'll just get right to the source and see how we get an answer on that, whether they're going to issue a new warning with this as it moves in, because I'll be surprised if they don't. But again, at least a severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado as you see this rotation and now moving out of Portage County back into parts of western Mahoning County. This storm up in northern Trumbull, we're watching it up around Mecca, Cortland, up toward the northern half of the county. Currently, no big signatures on that are concerning from a rotation standpoint. But with that being said, that's something we're watching. Any of these storms could start to spin up at any point here this afternoon. So again, tornado warning. It's eastern Portage County. Currently, it's until 4:30, so there's about 7 minutes left on this warning here as it moves into eastern parts of Portage County. But the outer edge of the storm is already moving into Mahoning County. So if you're off to the east in Austintown or Youngstown, looking off to the west, it's very dark. You're hearing rumbling thunder. Well, this storm is moving its way almost due east here into Mahoning County. So that's what we're watching this afternoon. Thank you, Kyle, for sending that out. We'll see what we get a response with that.
Yeah, it's something else I'm just picking up on, too. Looking at the wind velocities, they are really starting to pick up now as they approach the county line there. I don't know if you want to click on any of that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead right into that.
I saw readings getting close to 60 miles an hour right around there in that part of the system.
And there you go. So what we're looking at in here, there's a 42. We're looking there around. And again, these are winds going in opposite directions. And the one place we really want to look is right where these are going in opposite directions together. And again, that's where the tornado would be. This is the rotation. Red is going away from the radar. Green is going toward the radar. So we're getting some of these different variants in here going in different directions, up to 50 miles per hour or higher in one direction. In order to have a tornado warning, a Doppler radar tornado warning, you need these are called gates. Each of these little pixels here are called gates, and you need what's called 90 knots, 90 knots of gate-to-gate shear. So each of these little parcels have to be beside each other and add up to 90 knots. That typically is the trigger for a Doppler radar indicated tornado, and you can see that we are right on the threshold of that here. This storm also has a well-defined hook to it, and when we say hook, I'm going to turn that off so I can show you what I'm talking about. You can plainly see as I go ahead and just draw a line on this, this is what's called the hook right here, and it did have a more pronounced little ball on it earlier, not quite as signified currently. But again, as that moves into Mahoning County, this is still a dangerous storm. The storm up in Trumbull County, just real quick here. Still not seeing any rotation on that, so that's good news. That is still heavy rain and possibly a little gusty wind with it. But this storm moving into Mahoning County is one that we are watching extremely closely now. The heavier rain already just about to Austintown. That's the Anvil. That's the outer edge of it starting to move on in, and it will continue to drive its way into Mahoning County here this afternoon. So that's the latest here from as far as what we're looking at on radar. Some heavier rain down in Columbiana County way, moving into southwest corner and also up into northern parts of Mercer County, but currently not seeing any major severe signatures on those storms. Our biggest concern is this current storm that has a tornado warning here in western, moving into western parts of Mahoning County and out of Portage County. Kyle?
Yeah, still no word from National Weather Service yet on if a warning will be issued in our area. We're still waiting to hear on that, but again, this system is really starting to pick up right on the county lines here in Trumbull and Mahoning counties. I would say make sure if you are near that county line, again, Lake Milton area, Craig Beach area, again, now approaching Austintown. Get inside if you aren't already. Hopefully you are watching us from inside, and make sure you maybe even want to get to a safe space as we continue to track this system working its way into our viewing area. Again, no word yet on an official tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning in Mahoning or Trumbull counties at this point. But again, lots of lightning associated with this. Again, we're still looking at the chance for a tornado to roll through, and that's why we're here tracking this system right now. Again, a couple signs that we're going to be looking at is some of this hook that you can see right off the back of this system, right near Route 14 is where some of that hook is. And let me show you some of rotation tracker. Starting to see some rotation again near Palmyra, also near Deerfield, very minimal at that. But rotation is still something we're going to keep tracking. One way we also track that is looking at some of the wind velocities.
Here we go. Okay. So we just got confirmation on that, Kyle. And what we're going to do is they are going to issue a tornado warning for Mahoning County.
Got it. Okay.
So if you're listening in the control room, let me know in my ear when we're hot. We need to go to all 4 stations. So if you can put that back to radar for me, Kyle.
Let's go back to radar.
If you let me know in my ear, we need to go to all 4.
I might need you to step out of the way for a second.
Yep.
There we go.
That's fine.
Okay, you're good.
I will, all 4 stations, please. Just let me know when we're... All right, again, this is meteorologist Paul Wetzel tracking severe weather this afternoon. We are currently having a tornado warning in place. We've been tracking this storm online at WKBN.com as it's made its way through Portage County. A new tornado warning will be coming shortly for Mahoning County. So we've been talking to the National Weather Service. Again, a new tornado warning. It's not showing up yet, but they are going to move this into a tornado warning for Mahoning County. This is the reason we're breaking in on air. We apologize for interrupting your programming, but this is a dangerous situation with these storms moving in this afternoon. Currently, it is a tornado warning that's in place. Now, the tornado would still be in Portage County. This is heavy rain moving along Interstate 76 now, moving into central Mahoning County, just north of 224. Again, that warning will come in soon. Where we're concerned about right now is here in Palmyra, Deerfield. Here's 224. There's the new warning. Okay, so this is our new tornado warning. Again, this is for Mahoning County here. As your alerts are starting to go off, you're going to start hearing sirens going across countywide here in Mahoning County for a new tornado warning that was just issued. That's why we broke in on the air. This is officially in place until 5:30. So we're going to be with this storm for a while here in Mahoning County as it tracks its way on in. We've got you covered here. Here's what you need to do. If you're in the southern half of the county, this is up to the north. This is mainly north of 224 at the present time. We're going to watch it very closely. We're going to track it with you as it moves on in. If you are along 224 in north, at this point, you need to be taking your tornado preparation. Now, that is get into an interior room if you don't have a basement. If you have a basement, start making plans to get to the basement as this storm moves through, as it makes its way out of Portage County. It's already pushing in heavy rain and a lot of lightning in Mahoning County, but the tornadic part of this storm is just about to cross the county line here, coming out of the Palmyra area and making its way the leap across the county border. This is going to move into Blanco. Berlin Center. You are right in the target of this as it makes its way out of Portage County here this afternoon. So a very dangerous storm. We've been watching for these storms all afternoon, watching to see as they continue to rotate and pick up some intensity with them. But right now, the area of concern is pretty much here. That's 225 in eastern Portage County, and this is where the tornado would currently be if it was on the ground. We don't have any confirmation that a tornado is on the ground at this point. This is a Doppler radar estimated tornado, but we have had reports of rotating wall clouds with this storm as it's made its way on in. Again, this is knocking on the door of Mahoning County. Now, this is heavy rain and more than likely some hail coming down around Craig Beach, Blanco, right down 76, right down Mahoning Avenue. And this heavier rain is already pushing over toward North Jackson, getting into the Austintown area. This storm is taking an almost due east track, slightly southeast. So what this will do is this puts Youngstown in its sights. This puts Canfield in its sights. This puts Boardman in its sights if this supercell holds together. And these have had a history today of holding together. So this is a strong storm and a dangerous storm now with a tornado warning in place currently for Mahoning County. And this is for an hour. So we apologize for interrupting your programming, but this is a dangerous situation and this is our policy. When we have dangerous weather, especially a tornado warning, we're going to be there for you as these storms track on through. So this is what we're doing. We're going to follow this through as it moves in. Let's go ahead and talk about the storm. Now, there are some other storms around, and don't worry, we're watching those too. They currently do not have the intensity or the rotation that we're concerned about, like the storm that we're dealing with here in Mahoning County, but we are also keeping a close watch on that. So I'm going to use some tools here with you and jump off the screen, and we'll get a better look at this storm as it moves through, trying to alert people. Kyle, have we heard anything different on your end as far as the Weather Service goes?
Not at this point, other than tornado rotation that's being tracked is north of Deerfield and between Deerfield and I-76 at this time. Again, working straight towards Mahoning County line right there and into our viewing area, and that's why we have this warning issued at this time. All
right, thank you, Kyle. And what we're looking at here, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you what we're watching. These colors mean a lot to us. What we're looking at, you see this brighter red color. Currently right down here along 224 off to the south, and I'll circle this. This is air going away from the radar. These darker colors are air going toward the radar. This tells us that we have strong rotation in this area right here, and I'll go ahead and clear that back off for you. We also use what we call our rotation tracker. That tells us and gives us a good indication of where the rotation has been. In fact, if I back this up, you can plainly see that that has had plenty of rotation with it as it made its way across Portage County. I'll go ahead and turn the storm reports on. I don't see any reports currently of any damage from this storm, but I'm sure we'll start seeing those come in if there are. Right now, though, this storm is a dangerous storm. Tornado warning until 5:30. That's for the big part of Mahoning County, and that's because this storm, and I'm going to just put a loop on this just over the last 15 minutes to give you an idea. This storm is tracking off to the east here between 30 to 35 miles per hour. Now, the tornadic part of the storm, that is tracking its way east, and we'll go ahead and put a timestamp on that and basically a quick cone from where the tornado would be off to the east here at about 30 miles per hour. And this is a look at some of the cities where this would show up as far as the tornadic portion of this storm. That puts it in North Jackson, right around 450. Bowman's Corners around 450, over toward the west side of Austintown around 457. So just to kind of give you an idea, that doesn't mean you're not already getting very heavy rainfall and more than likely some hail too as this storm moves on in, but that would be the tornadic part, and that's the area that is just now crossing the county line out of Portage County on into Mahoning County right now as this tornado warning continues for us. Go ahead, Kyle, we got something new.
Yeah, so something from the National Weather Service that we're just seeing, some of this rotation now just starting to cross the line into Mahoning County. Also just posted a picture of kind of what you guys are seeing right now outside. A big wall cloud right near Berlin Center, and it looks like you could really see what's going on out here. just a lot of
Absolutely.
activity.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
dark
If
clouds.
you are south of this storm, I'm sure you're seeing it. Now, you should be in your tornado shelters. But if that was, we just saw a picture from the National Weather Service. There is a plain wall cloud on this underneath. And there's no surprise. This thing has hooked. It is showing rotation with it. It definitely could drop a tornado at any second at this point as it moves here into western Mahoning County. That's why you need to be safe. And that's why we're tracking this for you. And that's why we have broken into programming. So let's talk about some areas that is an immediate concern of a tornado. This is heavy rain off to the east, Austintown. It's coming your way. You're getting rain. You're getting hail up into Blanco. You're getting heavy rain along 76. But the tornadic part of this is going to be just south of Blanco to Berlin Center. If you're in Berlin Center, you need to be in your basement now. You need to be into an interior room. A dangerous situation moving your way. Mock Road, Heiser Road, Berlin Station Road, Leffingwell here. All these areas and even points northward, including Blanco up here to the north. This is moving in. So let's get in a little bit closer and go ahead and just work this storm on through. Again, the tornado would be right around Mock Road and Heiser Road, moving over Bedell Road here in western Mahoning County. It has now cleared Portage County, and it's going to work its way off to the east. Another little area we're going to watch. See this little notch? Right here northwest of Ellsworth. We'll wait and see. What these supercells do is they regenerate. So you see a storm spin up, it produces a possible tornado, and then it fades and a new meso forms, a new supercell forms. We're watching this little notch here. This is around the Ellsworth area. This may take over as the new area of rotation, but right now the concern is out here around the Berlin Center area, and regardless of you're to the east or to the west here in Mahoning County, if you're in this red area, you need to be in your basement. You need to be into an interior room. So let's talk about points eastward here as this storm is moving in. Austintown, Canfield, Boardman, Youngstown. This is moving your direction. That also includes the Mineral Ridge area. It's going to get heavy rainfall. It's sort of on the northern fringe of it, up here on the Trumbull County line. The tornadic part of it, though, is off to the south, and there we go. Radar update for us. So the tornado, if there was one on the ground right now, we don't have any confirmation of that, but if there was one on the ground right now, it would be right up and down here in Berlin Center along 534. So this is where we would be most concerned currently here in Berlin Center. Here is where the tornado would be. Blanco up to the north here as you get up toward Mahoning Avenue. Between there and also between there and 224. Pretty much would be the most dangerous part of this as it moves on through. And then as we move eastward here, this is going to continue to work its way over toward Duck Creek Road, running north and south. If you are off to the west here, Portage County, this is now clear of your area. So we'll see that trimmed back. And we will start talking about the all clear areas because you want to know when you're safe, at least from this storm. But again, this is a big storm, and it does span the entire county now with heavy rain and hail. And those locations are mainly off to the north here. Rosemont, North Jackson, out toward Blanco, very heavy rain, more than likely some big hail too. But the area we're concerned about a tornado right now, right around the Berlin Center area here, and that does include central Mahoning County. So Berlin Station Road, just north of Leffingwell, as you make your way in. Let's get in closer on some of these roads, just so we can make sure we have you safely here. Hoyle Road, and also up there, let's see, that's Mock Road there to the north. So again, this is the center of this storm that we're worried about. Real quickly, I know there are other storms out there going right now. We're watching them all. There's some big storms here in southern Columbiana County. We're also now tracking a storm, and this one's starting to look interesting too in northwestern Trumbull County as well. That's one we're going to have to watch. And Kyle, if you see anything on that, let me know if you don't mind.
Will do.
We're going to keep watching for rotation on that one too. But right now, our immediate concern is this storm. There's the trim. National Weather Service just taking off the back half of the warning here for western Mahoning County. So they continue to keep this tornado warning going for central Mahoning County as this moves eastward. So prepare for very heavy rainfall, flooding rainfall in some of these spots, some big hail, and of course the potential is there for a tornado. I do want to talk about some of the rotation with this as it works its way on in. We'll use some of our other products. Also looking at that storm to the north. Kyle, did you happen to see anything on that one?
Not at this point. Looking at velocities and wind, not showing any rotation at this time on the storm in the north. Winds right now on this clocking in right around 30 to 35 miles an hour currently as that storm moves across Trumbull County, but nothing of note at this point. Again, main concern being the storm going right over Berlin Center right now. Some of those winds are really starting to pick up there, Paul.
Yeah, and this is the area we're concerned about right now. This is right around Berlin Center. Berlin Station Road will go. Okay, here we do not have any power outages. We're getting some news reports out of the newsroom, so that's good news here. But again, this is right on Duck Creek Road, Berlin Station, Leffingwell Road, as you make your way down 224. And let's go ahead and talk about areas that I am concerned that you need to be taking cover. If you live in Canfield, you should be in your basement. If you live in Canfield, you should be in your interior room. This rotation is moving in your direction right now. It's moving off. I'll go ahead and center this up at about 30 miles per hour. So I want to go ahead and put just the center of rotation with this. So this would put this through Ellsworth here at 445. That's what we're tracking. It's almost over top of Ellsworth. This is the tornadic part of the storm. This is going to put it in Canfield, right around 455. The Stars Corners area around 5 o'clock. Cornersburg around 5 o'clock. Boardman around 5:05. So the center of rotation of this storm, the area that we're concerned about, the tornadic part of this storm, has basically lined up now pretty much with 224. So think of yourself as in a car on 224, but it being a possible tornado going east, moving at about 30 miles per hour. That's the concern right now, and currently that concern is right over top of Berlin Center, heading toward Ellsworth. Again, very heavy rain, though, from Austintown off to the west here. As you make your way up and down through Rosemont, North Jackson, more than likely hail coming down with this. In fact, we can look at some of our products and plainly some hail swaths in here, as this has had a history of producing hail, and it more than likely continues to do so. But our biggest concern right now is the rotation. There's a look at rotation tracker currently. And again, we're looking at some other products in here to kind of give us a bigger, quicker update with this. And this just continues to show currently a broader rotation, but still a significant rotation. That's this area of red and green together that we're monitoring very closely here. And again, this is right on 224. Marching its way eastward with this storm in Mahoning County. So we'll reset here again. Apologize for breaking into your programming, but this is a dangerous situation and a policy that we have here at the station that we are on air alerting you as needed with these storms as they continue to work their way through. And we do currently have a tornado warning going for Mahoning County, and that's until 5:30 this afternoon. I am also watching off to the north here. This storm up in northwestern Trumbull County, it's starting to take on those supercell characteristics, and that's what we've been watching all afternoon. The atmosphere has been primed for this, starting to see this C shape taking shape, and that's the inflow coming into this. This is one we're going to be watching closely too as this works its way toward Mecca. Toward Mosquito Lake and central Trumbull County, rather. But right now, the storm that has well past that point is this storm that's in Mahoning County that is producing very heavy rainfall with it. And Kyle, I don't know if you can, maybe on 2, can we start checking to see some of our weather cameras, maybe some we want to pull up, and we can possibly pull that up on the air too. And maybe if you're listening here in the control room, if you see anything of some cameras that we need to take, feel free to let me know, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some of those. I would think our Youngstown cameras are some we want to start looking at here as this moves on in here in Mahoning County. But the tornado warning itself, it's in place for the entire eastern half of the county, the northern third of the county until 5:30. If you're off to the west, and let's go ahead and do some all clears, because this is now past Craig Beach. This is now past Berlin Center, or just past Berlin Center. Still want to be in cover here in Berlin Center, but off to the east, you definitely want to watch this closely as this continues to move its way toward Canfield. So I am concerned about Ellsworth. I'm concerned about Canfield as far as the tornadic part of this moving down 224 here this afternoon in Mahoning County. I'm also concerned about the heavy pink and red that you're seeing on here because that's heavy rain and hail that is showing up here today in central and northern Mahoning County. But the tornadic part of this is still off to the south here, and that's right along Duck Creek Road, moving into the Ellsworth area, Berlin Station Road, Leffingwell Road. This is the area. Ellsworth. If you're in Ellsworth, you definitely need to be in your basement. You need to be in an interior room. We want to keep you safe here as the storm moves on by. Off to the west, Berlin Center, it's just about past you. Blanco, it's past you. So up and down 534 west, this storm has cleared. Doesn't mean it's the last one today, but this particular storm has cleared 534 and is moving east. Off to the east, though, if you're in Youngstown, if you're in Canfield, if you're in Austintown, even Boardman, this is moving your direction here this afternoon. So again, the tornadic part of this is still around the Ellsworth area. Heavy rain and hail through the central part of the county and then off to the east. But that's not the only storm we're watching. There's another storm up in Trumbull County that continues to show some characteristics with it, that it is starting to become supercellular as well as it moves through. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're starting to see a couple pictures of that system, too, from the Warren camera, at least looking at it. It's north of Warren at this point, but you can see some of the activity in the weather camera right now past it. But looking at where we're talking about more, right here in Mahoning County, some of the pictures right now over Youngstown State University, also looking at our Oak Hill camera in Youngstown, it's pretty hard to tell what's going on. A lot of clouds, a lot of rain, just a lot of activity going on right as the storm is passing through it.
Exactly. So again, I know that it kind of got murky this afternoon with the storms moving on in. There are now multiple storms showing up. We're going to continue to pinpoint each of these storms, and we are watching all of them very, very closely here as they're starting to spin up to a supercellular level. Supercells are rotating storm. That's what we're watching here. Right now, those storms that we're watching, the most concerning one is this one in Mahoning County that has a obviously hook on it. And when I talk about the hook, what I'm talking about is that little pendant that you're seeing on the back side of it there. That is the obvious hook. That's the area we look for as far as a tornado goes. That is the area we're most concerned about with this storm. It's still producing very heavy rain, lightning, and thunder with it as it moves off to the east, but this is a dangerous storm now moving through central Mahoning County, and the part that would have a tornado on it is right here around the Ellsworth area, moving down 224. So let's talk about some roads here. If you're on Leffingwell Road around Ellsworth, if you're on Berlin Station Road around Ellsworth, if you're up toward Deal Road around Ellsworth and Palmyra, these are the areas where the possible tornado would be right now. Now, where's it going? Well, let's go ahead and move east here because it's moving right toward Canfield. So this is going down 224. This is going to move right on into, we'll get into some of these roads here for concern here as this moves in. Again, Leffingwell, east and west, right down 224. Meisner Corners, Herbert Road off to the north, and then moving right into the center of Canfield. If you're living in Canfield, you should be getting to your basement now. You should be getting into your interior room. There's an update for us. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this here as far as the radar goes. Again, there's the update. Still not a whole lot of change with it, but I still see this obvious hook with this. And the tornadic part would be right over top of Ellsworth. So this is now past Berlin Center. You're good. You're in the clear here in Berlin Center. You're not in the clear here in Ellsworth. This is moving down 224. Very heavy rain. Lots of hail, more than likely. Now moving into Austintown. Austintown, you're on the very northern fringe of this storm. I know it sounds scary right now. There's heavy rain, more than likely, moving through, and some hail and some gusty wind, and even Youngstown starting to get into the heavier rainfall currently. But the part we're concerned about right now is right around Ellsworth, moving into the Canfield area. And if you know someone in Canfield or Ellsworth or with along this 224 line, want to make sure they're in cover. I want to make sure they're in the basement, into the interior room as this storm moves through. Again, this is a tornado warning for central Mahoning County now until 5:30 this afternoon. watching the storm in Trumbull County. Are you guys seeing anything new on that Trumbull County storm, just out of curiosity, because that's starting to hook up here just west of Mecca, north of Champion. Something we want to watch closely, too.
If anything, maybe some light broad rotation. Not a whole lot to talk about with that system in Trumbull County at this point, at least on rotation tracker from here and looking up at Trumbull County right now.
And what about the Columbiana County? I don't see anything signature-wise here that's looking too much, but I was just curious if any rotations popping on any of that.
Not as much either there, but could be possible. I wouldn't rule it out at this point.
Right. Well, any of these could spin up pretty quickly this afternoon, and that's what we're concerned about.
There's some rotation around Tuscarawas County, east of New Philadelphia. That storm looks like it's going to go south of Columbiana County. Our strongest rotation right now is right over...
Okay. You
right
do
over. Yeah, they have Stan Boney's out. You got that?
Yep. Go ahead, Stan. What do you got out there? We have Stan Boney on 224 this afternoon. Go ahead, Stan.
Paul, can you hear me?
Live watching this as it moves on through. Go ahead, Stan.
Paul, can you hear me, Paul?
I can. I can hear you in here. Hopefully you can hear me.
Okay, good deal. Okay. Yes, I not very well, but I'm standing right now right along Route 224 in Boardman. I'm standing in the shelter underneath the Presidential Plaza. So I'm across the street from Perkins and Lazy Boy Furniture. If you know where I'm at, I'm standing right in front of Talbot's Women's Store. Right now, we're just getting heavy rain. I think that the cell you're talking about is still off to the west of us. We haven't seen the worst of it come through here, but so far there's been no wind and just some heavy to moderate rain. I haven't seen any hail yet. We did see what could have been maybe a little bit of a type of a funnel cloud roll through here earlier, but it didn't really have much. There wasn't much depth to it. It wasn't even close to being on the ground. So right now we're just getting moderate rain, calm winds, but I think the worst of it is still off to the west if I'm tracking this right, and we'll stick here until it comes through.
All right, Stan, thank you very much. Actually, the worst part of this storm will be moving towards you here rapidly, Stan, if you can hear me. Again, if we get back to Storm Team 27 Viper radar, the worst part of this, Stan, is actually moving in your direction. So this is the tornadic part of this storm is actually moving into Canfield right now. So here's where we're going to go. I want to take you in here. This is called our velocity product. So what we're looking at on this is a twisting wind. The green color tells me it's coming toward the radar. The red color tells me it's going away from the radar. The area of rotation is directly south of Canfield. So this is going to be right around the Canfield Fairgrounds. So currently, if there's a tornado with this, the possible tornado would be going right down Leffingwell, just south of Canfield, right over top of the fairgrounds. This is going to include Western Reserve. And I got to tell you, these colors here have gotten brighter. That tells me that rotation is tightening up and getting stronger. This is when we get the spin-ups. We have an obvious wall cloud. We've had a lot of pictures out of those coming in this afternoon. This is telling me this is spinning up, and this is concerning. This is just south of Canfield. This is going to move down and pretty much down Western Reserve, New Buffalo on the south side of Canfield, moving toward Boardman. So this is concerning now. This is definitely new. We've been watching this supercell change direction and path with it and intensity too as it moves on through. But right now, seeing the center of rotation just north of Cowla, just south of Canfield, you should be in your protected area if you're in the Canfield area, anywhere in this red shade here, as a tornado warning is in place for central Mahoning County right now. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning up north. That's for Trumbull County. We're watching you too. Right now, not an intense rotation, but starting to see some rotation with that up in Trumbull County. So we have two warnings going right now, both dangerous storms, but the most concern is this rotation that's showing up right now, and that is right around the Canfield area, especially just to the south of the Canfield area this afternoon. So very dangerous. I'm going to turn off some of these products here just so we can get a clearer view of what we're looking at here with this storm. Again, this is heavy rainfall. The area I'm following and we're watching very closely in here is this little hook, this little pendant. And that tells us and gives us a pretty good location where the tornado is. Heavy rain, yes, I know Austintown, Youngstown, moving into central Mahoning County, but the area... Okay, we have crews heading out, so if you hear me pause for a second, I'm just getting some information with that too. So we've got crews out on this. We heard from Stan a few minutes ago in Boardman, but where we're concerned about right now is definitely Canfield. Go ahead, Ryan, you got some?
I was going to say, so this area I'm very familiar with. So this is going to be, if you live in the vicinity of Western Reserve Road, this is going to move toward Drake's Landing, Avion on the Water. This is going to go by what is the Paradise Church that's on New Buffalo Road, the area of Lynn Road, along Lincoln Road and Calla there. That's the portion of Beaver Township area. That's where this storm currently is going to be passing by, in addition to Western Reserve around Leffingwell over toward 224 as you get to Canfield, close to where the new Meyer is. That's the area where we are seeing that rotation showing up. And we want to make sure that, again, if you were in that zone, you're moving to your shelter, lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, as many walls between you and the outside of your home as you can place yourself in.
And again, this is a central Mahoning County we're talking here, the entire portion of the central part of the county under a tornado warning. If you live within these red lines, you should be taking cover right now, as Ryan just indicated. Now, west of Canfield, Ellsworth, this is now past you, Bowman's Corners, getting in the all clear now. So we want to make sure we give you the all clear, at least from this storm as it's passed on by. Where it's not all clear includes Boardman, up and down 224, not in the all clear, should be taking cover from Canfield off to the east to Boardman. And Poland, we're watching for you too, and Struthers as well in the eastern half of the county. But again, this storm, this is a supercell. There's an update. These storms all afternoon long have been holding their strength. That's what supercells typically do when the atmosphere is set up right. We don't expect this to change. This is going to have to just work its way on through. So what we're going to do is continue to prepare you as this moves on through and give you the all clears. Again, we apologize for breaking into your programming, but this is a dangerous situation with a tornado warning here in central Mahoning County. And right now, if it had a tornado, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, but we've had signs of wall clouds and pictures sent in to us. We know it's producing that tornadic structure with it. If it had a tornado warning, or a tornado, it is a warning. If it had a tornado on it, it would be moving right down Western Reserve, right around the Canfield Fairgrounds, and now moving pretty much over 76 and down Leffingwell. So Stars Corners, as we get over toward Market Street, now we're starting to inch into the Boardman region. So if you're on the southwest side of Boardman, that's the tornadic part of this right now. I know it's raining. It's hailing. It's definitely a mess in the central and the northern part of the county. But the part we're most concerned about as far as a tornado goes is right around Canfield, now moving into the southwest Boardman Township area with this heavy rain and hail up around Cornersburg into Youngstown. That's going to continue, and even some gusty wind too. So this is where we're watching closely. Control room, if you happen to get back to Stan, I'd be curious if he's breaking out into this rain-free base and maybe seeing something from Boardman here. So let us know in our ear if you do hear back from Stan, and we also have our live drive out going into this storm. But right now, our major concern is right around the Canfield and parts of the southwest and western township of Boardman. We're also watching up north. That's right. We know we have a severe thunderstorm warning going up here in central and northern Trumbull County. This storm has had some indication of rotation with it at times, but currently, as we're still watching, and you guys haven't seen anything different on that, not the strong rotation that we're dealing with down in Mahoning County, but this is still going to produce some heavy rain and hail. All right, so what we're going to do is, again, we're concerned about now moving into southwestern Boardman Township. We'll go off and look at some of these roads. That's Paradise Road, New Buffalo, Leffingwell. This is right over top of to the south of Canfield. That would be the tornadic portion of this. We just talked with Stan Boney a few minutes ago. He was in Boardman. Let's get an update from Stan to see what he's seeing now as the storm moves in. Stan?
All right. Hi, Paul. I've moved down to the one end of the Presidential Plaza, so I'm now looking to the west. I'm looking down toward that Western Reserve Road, Leffingwell area, and I think you can see the supercell cloud that you're talking about. It looks like it runs, and I'm only guesstimating here, probably from Route 224 is one edge of it, and it goes all the way to about Western Reserve Road. And you can see just how massive it is. The wind is kicked up just a little bit. It's certainly not tornadic level yet. The rain's coming down a little bit harder. We've seen some cloud to ground lightning. So you can kind of see where it's at the moment, okay? You can see the tornado, well, what appears to be a supercell. I don't want to say it's a tornado yet, but what appears to be that cell that you were tracking. It has a definitive funnel shape, and it is big. As I said, probably running from close to Western Reserve Road down to 224. That's toward Best Buy. That's the area that I'm looking toward. So that's what you're looking at right there, and I got an eye on it right at the moment.
All right, Stan. Yeah, obviously, you're getting into the rain-free base of this, so you should actually see the actual wall cloud coming in. That circular cloud you're looking at is the outer edge of this supercell. So you're getting in. This is moving right down New Buffalo Road, the center of rotation with this. So it's going to be just to your southwest where you're looking, and more than likely, as this pops out past that building, you're going to see the wall cloud on this. You can't see it because the building's in your way there, but it is moving in. We'll get back to you, Stan. If you see something, give us a yell real quick. Maybe you can get to a different location possibly where you can get a better view. I actually see just on the left side of that building, Stan, you see the wall cloud? It's just starting to come out there. That's the wall cloud. So if we see this, it's going to continue to work its way on through. More than likely, if it's dropping a tornado, we're going to see it. Now, that's that little bit of fragments coming down. That's the scud. That's the actual debris building of that cloud base underneath for the wall cloud. But we are now seeing that wall cloud actually appearing as we look at it here. So there we go. Thank you very much. There's an updated view. So we have a view of this storm. Now we have a visual of this. There we go. That is a lowering wall cloud there. And I'll tell you what, that looks like a funnel. That definitely looks like a funnel, possibly. I can't see because until it gets past that cloud. This is moving right down New Buffalo, moving toward McClurg here on Western Reserve. Go ahead, Brian.
That's the area where that rotation is showing strongest would be right around Drake's Landing and Evian on the Water on Western Reserve, coming up, approaching Glenwood Avenue. So where we would be seeing this, the Shell gas station that's there on Western Reserve at Glenwood, that is right around the area where this is. So if you live in the Boardman area on Glenwood, if you live on Market Street or near Market Street at Western Reserve, near the, this is going to go right around St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Boardman. That is where we see that rotation showing, where we would be looking at this. So from 224 down to 165 between about Glenwood, Western Reserve, Market Street in the Boardman area, that is where that rotation is showing the strongest with this storm cell. And that is only going to continue pushing east towards 680. So around McClurg, around Southern Boulevard, that zone, you should be in your shelter right now.
All right, and that is an obvious wall cloud coming through there. What we're watching to see whether funnels are dropping out of it. Stan, what I can tell you is if you're going to get wrapped in some very heavy rain soon, if you can go around in front of this somehow and try to stay in this rain-free base ahead of it, that would be fantastic. Or let us know if you see anything else popping out from underneath this, but that is most likely the wall cloud that we're seeing coming out. Let's get back into our radar here to show you where we're talking about. And what Ryan was just talking about, that rotation is right here along Western Reserve Road. So where we're seeing the red and the green together, this is the rotation area. This is moving right across Market Street now. And again, there's McClurg, of course, Mercy South here in Boardman, and this is moving right down Western Reserve now. And we just saw that. Stan was off to the north. We were looking at it from Boardman as that wall cloud came out and around underneath this. So very dangerous situation now. The rotation itself is now in Boardman. So if you're in Canfield off to the west, I know we've been talking about Canfield a lot. The major rotation pretty much from 62 west is now gone. It's pushed off to the east. So just to give some all clears there. So we're watching very closely right now on the south side of Boardman. Do you have something, Kyle? I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
No, sorry. I'm getting...
so that rotation right now is moving on the south side of Boardman, Ryan?
Okay, and that's continuing now to push east, so we can go ahead and give some additional alerts for where we're looking at this going. This is going to be coming into the Poland area very soon. So in Poland, you should be preparing to move to your shelter now. Looking at this coming into northern extent of New Middletown, in those areas, you should be moving to your safe spot now. That's the lowest level of your home, with as many walls between you and the outside of your home as possible if you don't have a basement. Lowville, you're in this tornado warning. That rotation is going to pass very close to you, potentially just south, but very close by. You should be in your safe spot there. We are seeing, too, new information just coming in. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Lawrence County at this time, waiting to see if they perhaps putting that out ahead of the storm, they could potentially issue or increase that to a tornado warning if that rotation were to continue. We still see rotation showing with this right now. It would be crossing over or approaching 680, crossing over what would be South Avenue, what we're looking at, or I'm sorry, approaching Market Street there, approaching, going to push toward 680 here. So this is over the Boardman area. This would be around Glenwood.
Okay, and just a quick view from out back here looking down into this. There's your heavy rain coming through. Boardman, some hail more than likely, too, coming on through. You can see the sheets of rain. And we haven't forgot you. I know a lot of you are sitting at home saying, why aren't you talking about my location? We're watching that, too. It's heavy rain and hail on the top side of this storm. This is what we're looking at here as you look toward the southeast in Boardman Township. As we get back to Storm Team 27 Viper radar, though, the area we're really concerned about, though, is this rotation part of the storm. And right now, that's pretty much centered from Boardman, Poland, south down toward 5 Points. So McClurg. Now, what we're watching, and we watched this earlier with the supercell, I talked about these regenerating. And these supercells tend to do this. So we see a little notch starting on the front side of again, and these sometimes just jump to the next path. So we'll watch that off to the east. That's down toward New Middletown. But right now, we saw that with Stan a little earlier with that wall cloud coming in. The major concern is pretty much from Boardman Center down Market Street to North Lima. This window in here, and I'll go ahead and back this out a little bit. This window between 224 and North Lima, east is our concern. That includes Poland. That includes 5 Points. North Lima, you're right on the northern fringe of this. If you're south of North Lima, right now you're safe. It does look like this is going to move east. If you're in Canfield, this has now cleared your area, but we're moving with this storm. And again, we've broken in on air to warn you, as we do have a tornado warning officially in place until 5:30 here this afternoon for Mahoning County. It's not the only storm out there. We're worried about these continuing to pulse up and spin up this afternoon, and we're watching this one very closely, too. It's up in northeastern Trumbull County. Right now, it doesn't have a lot of rotation with it, but it is heavy rain. Go ahead, Kyle.
I was also going to say they started at least to reduce the size of that severe thunderstorm warning, too. But, again, as this continues to move in, we might see something pop up in Mercer County with that severe thunderstorm warning, too. Something we'll just be keeping an eye on here throughout.
Absolutely. And we're not done. We're not done here. There's multiple storms out here. The environment, this is not one of those environments where the rain cools it down and then you think you're done with the storms because it's cooler. That's not the case today. We have shear in place. And when we have shear in place like we have today, you don't need all that heat and humidity. These things can still fire and go. And we're witnessing that right now as the main core of this wave moves on through. But of most concern, and the reason we're on the air right now, is because we have a tornado warning. We do have Stan back on. Let's go back to Stan and see what he's seeing from his location. Go ahead, Stan.
Well, Paul, I've kind of moved a little bit. I moved so I could get a better view, but I think I'm probably right in the middle of it right now. I'm now on South Avenue, very close to Carano's greenhouse. I'm just up probably a half a mile south of Route 224, and it's heavy rain. Actually, the sun now beginning to come out just to the west of us. We're getting heavy rain. Strong wind, but it doesn't look like it's damaging wind. And you are at the moment looking southeast toward Lawrence County, toward Springfield Township, maybe toward Poland Township. But right now, really all we're getting is heavy rain, some strong wind, but it doesn't look like there's any damaging wind. None of the trees are bent over. And as I mentioned, off to the west, we're now starting to see a few peaks of sunshine.
All right, Stan, go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say, we also have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued that I don't believe has popped up for Mercer County. That severe thunderstorm warning going across much of north and central parts of Mercer County. There it goes, popping up, and that's that cell coming out of Trumbull that we've been watching closely. Again, a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Mercer County. That is slated to go until 5:45 here. So very active across our area. Of course, the storm that we are most concerned with, the one that we are still seeing rotation, showing what would be crossing over South Avenue and 680 now, coming into Poland. This is pretty much where we would see that, where you have those reds and greens close together. We can go ahead and point this out to you. This would be the area that we are looking at here, coming across 680 now, and that would be coming into portions of Lowville. You need to be in your safe spot now. In Poland, you should be in your safe spot as well, and even into parts of Springfield Township here and to the north of New Middletown should be in your safe spot at this time. Paul?
Yeah, and again, let's go ahead and do this. As Ryan was just pointing out, this is the area of the tornado warning, why we are on the air right now, breaking in over your programming. The center of rotation, the rotation we're worried about with this storm, we've had pictures of wall clouds, have not heard any damage yet or confirmed tornadoes, but it doesn't matter at this point. What we're doing is staying safe, and we want you to stay safe. So let's talk about it. If you're in Poland, you should be in the basement. If you're over toward Lowville, you should be in the basement. If you're along 224 from Boardman East, you should be in the basement. Go ahead, Ryan.
As you're go ahead there, I'm going to take control of this. I want to change our view to our Lake Club camera here.
Go ahead, Ryan.
As we are looking toward the southern flank of this storm, and I want to go ahead and pull that camera up. Bear with me one moment while we get that up here. Okay, and this is a live view of the Lake Club, and let me go ahead and go into this. I want to turn that banner off so that we can see that. So that is our current view of the Lake Club. This would be in that general area, Paul, where we are seeing that rotation.
And Ryan, what we're seeing here, just to point out, and a lot of you may have already watched this happening, this cloud coming in here, that's the outer edge of the mesocyclone, the supercell itself. So when this comes over top of you, that wind's really going to pick up. It's going to get gusty as it moves on through. There's some lightning for you. You can actually watch the waves. See how the water's starting to spread out? That's that outflow coming out of that storm, building on through. Trees are starting to pick up. The gusty wind's going to build in. So let's go ahead, Ryan, if we can keep an eye on this, if we see some structure coming in, we'll jump back to it. Can we go back to radar?
I was going to say, you can clearly see that actual inflow coming in if you look at the clouds on the right side of the screen there.
You're talking about the low-level inflow coming in, yeah.
Yeah. We'll go back to radar. We're going to keep an eye on this. We have a view of this storm. Paul, step back for a moment, please. There we go. Now I can get you back in there. Okay, there we go.
Okay, just want to get back to radar here because we do want to make sure, again, our tornado warning is smaller but not done. So this is the area we're worried about. If you're west of Route 7, the worst part of this is just about past you, and that's a big part of Mahoning County. It doesn't mean we're done yet, though, because east of Route 7, especially just around there's the update. Okay, so let's get into some of these roads. This is where we're seeing this rotation now. Not quite as intense as it was just minutes ago, but this is Spittler Road, Miller Road, Errol Road, here, Smith's Corners. Go ahead, Stan.
I think it's pretty much over, and it wasn't that bad.
Okay, thank you, Stan. That was just an update. I don't know if you heard that or not on air. He's going to move out of his location where he was. He didn't get anything too extreme where he was as this passed over top of him. So that's great news. But here locally, what we're dealing with is this tornado warning continues mainly from around 680 east now. So 680 is pretty much your dividing line east, is where the rotation is showing up. And those areas we're most concerned about currently is Smith Corners. This is now on the southeast side of Poland, moving down 224. And 224 has been kind of the guiding path for this storm as it's made its way across Mahoning County. But again, this rotation, the area of concern would be right around the southeast side of Poland. You got something there, Kyle? Go ahead.
We are starting to hear of a couple power outages now around the area from this system moving through. Hearing of some near Poland from some of our coworkers that are talking to us. Just something of note as the strength of the storm continues building, going towards the state line now into Pennsylvania.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. And again, we're going to go throw a loop on this just to kind of give you a big picture. As this supercell has been working its way through Mahoning County, it has not been the only storm. We're watching storms in Columbiana County. Those remain under severe limits at this point. The storm up north, up in northern Trumbull County, that tracked its way across the northern half of the county has now moved, for the most part, into Mercer County, where a severe thunderstorm warning continues for it. We're still watching for signs of rotation with that. I'm actually going to switch radar sources here to get a better view. We'll go ahead and pull this out of the south just to check on this storm up north. And again, you're riding along with us as we're monitoring all these storms this afternoon. Not seeing any heavy rotation with that, so that's good. This storm to the south, this is a different radar view. Not quite as much rotation showing up with this one out of the Pittsburgh radar site. So that is good news. And again, the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Lawrence County as this moves through. This warning is in place officially until 5:30. We will stay with it until this warning is canceled, as is our policy for sure. But what we're watching very closely is, again, where this storm moves through. So this is looking up from New Middletown. It's been scary looking for you. Moving this way through. That rotation itself is still in Mahoning County that we're watching. Not quite as tight of rotation with it, but definite rotation here. It's a little broader. Earlier, we saw these kind of tighten together. Now we're starting to see these kind of spreading apart, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So that's what we're watching, but still a concern until we can get this storm cleared out of Mahoning County and on over into Lawrence County in western Pennsylvania, where a severe thunderstorm warning is in place for it. We'll see whether or not they trip a new tornado warning with this as it moves across the state line into western Pennsylvania. But a big part of Mahoning County, and I'll go ahead and switch radar sources here so to clean this up for you at home, a big part of Mahoning County getting clear from what this storm was as it moved on by here this afternoon. But that doesn't mean we're not in the clear in the eastern part of the county as it moves through. Generally, the New Middletown area, Petersburg off to the south, east of 680 here in the eastern part of the county. And then, of course, up north, the severe thunderstorm warning has ended now for Trumbull County. That continues up here in Mercer County until 5:45. Our tornado warning until 5:30 for eastern Mahoning County, and a severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock over here in Lawrence County. To the south, we have thunderstorms, and it looks like there is a new tornado warning on south. This storm has been going all day long from western Ohio, and it has produced tornado warning after tornado warning with it. But it's going to miss us. This is going to move off to the south toward Mingo Junction, down toward Weirton, south of Columbiana County. That has been a very dangerous storm today. There is another storm out in Stark County. We're going to have to watch for Columbiana County as this tracks on in. But right now, and the reason we're on the air and have been, is because we have this tornado warning in place now, still in place for eastern Mahoning County. But the bulk of this is moving over into Lawrence County now, right over top of New Middletown. You should still be taking cover until we can get you in the all clear. If you're in Boardman, this is now past you. That's good news. All clear for Boardman. Lowellville still getting very heavy rainfall too. Hold on for a few more minutes and we'll go ahead and give you the all clear there. And New Middletown and up and down 170 here in extreme eastern Mahoning County. And if you live in western parts of Lawrence County along 224, as you push over toward Bessemer, Hillsville, Jackson Knolls, this is moving in your direction. But right now, the rotation that we were looking at earlier with this, not quite as organized currently as it was. So that's better news, but still not out of the woods as far as this storm goes. We're watching it closely, but not quite the organization it had even 10 minutes ago as it was making its way on through. So we have multiple supercell thunderstorms moving through this afternoon, each of which can spin up pretty quickly, and that's why we're watching our products closely here in the Weather Center as these storms move on by. There is another storm just to the north, and we are going to break from our continuous coverage on air as this tornado warning ends for Mahoning County. But we will continue to stream online at WKBN.com, keeping you up to date here this afternoon and evening as these other storms move in. Then, of course, if we do get a new tornado warning, we'll be right back on. But you can catch us online at WKBN.com. We're going to continue streaming here this afternoon. Multiple storms. Any of these can spin up pretty quickly, so we have to monitor those very closely. But right now, the only storm that is showing strong signs of rotation is this storm that's just about to exit Mahoning County now into Lawrence County. Ryan? Or Kyle, go ahead.
I was going to say, so that severe thunderstorm warning for Trumbull County, they have canceled that. One of the areas that I am watching, perhaps starting to show a little bit of broad rotation. I want to emphasize that this is not tight rotation, but it is something we are watching, would be around the Sharpsville, Clark, and Transfer area. Now, this would be in very early stages, and I'm not extremely concerned at the moment, but it is an area that we are watching. That storm that has prompted that severe thunderstorm warning into Mercer County. Right now, over just between Lowville and Bessemer, that rotation not as organized as it was before, but that is where that area of rotation would be with that cell that we've just tracked across Mahoning County. If you do have family and loved ones down in Carroll County, there is a tornado warning down there. And also, Paul, I want to go ahead and change our camera once again. I'm going to take control of this from you. We're going to pull up our weather camera right now in downtown Sharon. And that is what we're looking at, where I was talking about looking up toward Sharpsville, up toward Transfer and Clark.
Hey, Ryan, can you jump back to the Lake Club camera as well? And you can plainly see those low-hanging clouds. Those are known as scud clouds. I did happen to catch the Lake Club because this has rolled over top of it, and we're actually kind of looking at the back side of that now. And these supercells have a tendency to produce these almost spaceship looking like clouds with them. There's a lot of turning and a lot of twisting and a lot of stream wise on them. And you'll start seeing these very like hollow cylinders around them. Kind of looks like a spaceship, and that's what you're looking at here at the Lake Club. We're getting on the back side of it, looking up underneath this storm as it makes its way out of Mahoning County on into Lawrence County. In fact, if it had a tornado on it, more than likely we would see it from our location. Go ahead, Kyle.
Something that just came in from the National Weather Service here within the last about 3 minutes or so. Rotation in Youngstown here, we're going to see the hail and potential for rotation. They're checking that for just a little bit longer as the storm continues to move through and out of the county. And then they are planning to drop the tornado warning at the National Weather Service at this time. So this is starting to wrap up, at least in Mahoning County. It's that we're going to have to keep tracking, though, into Lawrence County.
And with that being said, we will conclude our live streaming coverage on air here and let you go back to regular programming once that tornado warning is officially ended, which I do believe it may be. It looks like did they just go ahead and cancel that?
Yes, that has just been canceled.
So we are going to let you go back to your regular programming. We continue, as you're looking right now from Sharon, we're watching those lowering clouds very closely this afternoon. We're starting to see some rotation on that storm in Mercer County. So there's a possibility we're going to be back pretty quickly here, especially by looking at those clouds. But we are going to let you go back to your programming for now. We will be online at WKBN.com streaming continuously. So we're not stopping here, and we're not stopping watching, of course, too. If this goes tornadic or we think it's going to continue to spin up in Mercer County, we're going to be right back on here. But for now, we'll go ahead and send you back to normal programming as we continue to stream live at WKBN.com as the severe weather moves through this afternoon. Appreciate you staying with us as this dangerous weather makes its way through. We're not done yet, but we'll have to work on this through the evening before we can get the all clear for the entire region. We'll be over at WKBN.com continuing coverage of severe weather this afternoon.